Hey guys, so this YouTube clip or tutorial is of the brain dance of the Bartenieff Fundamentals, which I have done so previously on this channel. So the brain dance is a series of movements that we must conduct in our first series of life as a baby in order for holistic development that will last throughout life as well. So that involves emotional, social, relational, cognitive, academic, psychological, and physical. So that sounds like a lot of pressure, and most of the time we do go through these movements in our first year of life just naturally because we are born to be our own healers, and I am a huge advocate for children innately knowing what they need and sometimes being able to even self-lead with us as almost like their buffer and their protector and their support. And I suppose this video is to also highlight how we can continue to support our young people who might have some feelings of overwhelmness, who might sometimes be anxious in certain environments, who might need to start their day creatively to be safely in their body. You know, I have spoken on my Instagram page about relating ADHD to the need to bring equilibrium, still don't like that word, so I can't say it properly, to themselves because some of their brain waves can appear as foggy or drowsy, and how amazing I feel like this population is in being able to balance themselves in knowing what they need. And so by supporting them in their environment to actually actually explore and express and then find their ability to ground themselves. And so when they know that they've had that trust mirrored back to them, when we do then introduce interventions and strategies, they're more likely to trust what we are trying to support them with, because we have shown them that we also trust them and their capabilities and their capacity and their innate drive to thrive. And we are hardwired. That is a positive psychology model that, even though I'm a dance therapist, I still very much believe in that psychology model, because it does touch on what we believe in dance therapy, in that the body is always seeking to heal us. We are always seeking experiences and movements without judgment on whether they're positive or negative. Same goes for our kids. It's altogether an exploration for us to find, to be comfortable in our polarities, to not judge ourselves in any one given state. So, back to what I was saying, the brain dance can be a way to work with young people and adults to wire up these neural pathways. So these movements are neurological pathways that we wire or have to rewire later on in life if they haven't been established, or if there's a little bit of ambiguity about how they were established. Now, there are lots of reasons why some neuro pathways don't get developed in our first year of life. You know, it could be illness, it could be transitional, or that we're transient. There's no judgment as to why, and it's really, really common that it happens in our world today because we are super busy. We are busier now in this way of the world than we have ever been throughout history. It's like being in a freaking war zone, how busy we are. And so, there's no judgment as to why children might miss these patterns, and even us adults walking the earth today. So by going back and repeating these movements, possibly every single day for a child, whether it's at the beginning of their school day, wherever they are at a center, even in your workplace if you're an adult, at the beginning of a dance class, if you do sport, it could be used in any environment, and it is used in any environment throughout the world. So this is not something new and, really, We've been doing this as human beings since the beginning of time, and we've been doing this dance now. Anne Green Gilbert established it, don't even know when, over in America to assist those who might just need a bit more support in focusing themselves to be in the present moment. So it's about balancing that exploration, that expression, and then bringing in that balance if it may be needed in their language. So it's still movement. So this is the key. So we're not telling the child who needs lots of movement, stop moving. We're saying, let's move together in this way, and then they're able to find themselves in that space. Does that make sense? So if they need a moment where they can stop moving, then it's because they have conducted movements. So they've still got their lead. So we're still raising children who are self-determined. We're just helping them understand themselves a little bit better if they've had, you know, some beginnings to life where that may be fragmented. But once again, these children are still moving because they are hardwired to know what they need. Sometimes as adults, like I said, we are just there to support that way of being and to see them where they're at, to meet them where they're at. So this is movement. We meet them where they're at, they need to move. So let's move. All right, so I'm gonna do this first one sitting down, and then I can show you standing up. So I have done this dance on this channel once before, but I did it relating it to nature. So if you want to look back, so this can be done in, you know, I've done this with kids in a really, really fun, creative way. And I've often done this as like a seedling dance. You know, we start off as a little seed underneath the earth, and then we grow and we expand ourselves. This is breaking it down into just the movement. So, you know, like I said before, you can always ask me how to conduct these dances in different settings. If it needs to be a little bit more characteristic and dramatical, it can be. Or it can just be, you know, as simple as this, yeah? So, I'm gonna put on some beautiful music by a lovely artist called Irmgard, who is First Nations to Australia. I use this song quite a lot on this channel, Deep Blue Sea, because it's just beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna start off just with our breath, okay? You can start off sitting any way you want, all right? It doesn't have to be how I'm sitting. Sitting any way you want and just taking some deep breaths. So let's take 3 deep breaths together, okay? Because already the breath is bringing presence to the body. And you may do this by blowing bubbles first, by blowing feathers. And next is tactile. So we can start our hair. We can pretend like we're just brushing our hair, brushing it, flicking it, yeah. Softly brushing our face, our neck, the back of our neck. And then tapping on the chest, tapping up and down the arms and the hands. Tap, 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 tap. And over the other side, tap, 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 tap. And then just rubbing our belly and rubbing our back and rubbing our hips and massaging, grabbing our thighs, massaging all the way down to our feet. Grabbing and massaging. Okay? Now we're going to do some openings, like making a star. We're going to go core distal. So we're going to open everything up and then bring it back into a ball. Open up, so hands and feet, back into a ball. Open up and back into a ball. Now I'm going to turn a little bit to show you this next one. We're just going to start off by rolling, hands and feet straight, and then bringing them together. We're going to do that one more time. Rolling, and bringing that together. And now we're going to do actual little rolls, okay? So hugging your knees in tight if you can. You have to use your hands to help you, that's fine. But try and just roll and come back up. One more time. Roll and come back up. Good work. So the next one we're going to do now is side body. So we're going to keep one side of our body frozen. This side does not move. Just this side is moving, opening and shutting. Opening and shutting. One more. Beautiful. Same thing, other side. Open up this side, hand down. We do not move this side, just this side now. Open and shut. We're going to do big arms. Beautiful. Now we're going to put our hands behind us. We're not going to move our upper body at all. Our hands are down on just our legs. We're going to go in and out. Really simple stuff, okay? Or you might want to tap, 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 little kicks. And down. We're keeping our lower half still, and we're just going to sway side to side for upper body. Okay, doesn't matter how far you go, this is not about stretching, this is about movement. All of these movements right now are wiring neurological pathways that represent something from holistic development. So it doesn't matter how dancey or fancy you are, that's not the point. Okay, next one is going to be cross-lateral. So I use a stretch for this. It can be as simple as crossing feet over. And give yourself a hug. Maybe all of them. Give yourself a hug. And give yourself a hug. With the little kids that I do this with, I pretend that we're smelling our feet. Makes them laugh. Gonna make it fun, guys. Gonna make it fun. The last one is vestibular. So vestibular is standing on your feet, and we're going to do the pivot. Now some kids won't know how to pivot, so even if they're just going round and round with the little feet stepping, that's fine. We're going to pivot on one foot in one direction, so remember which direction you're going, hands out to help with your balance, and just go around until you get dizzy. You must get dizzy. Now I always have a joke with kids, you know, don't throw up. If you throw up, you'll clean it up. Round, round, round. When you're dizzy, tell them to stop, stare at one thing, and breathe. Now back the other way. What we do to one side, we must do the next. Round, round, and round. Round, and round, and round. When you're dizzy, stop, stare at one thing. And then you might have them just go for a skip. So we have to get off balance to be balanced, ironically enough. So that's a really, really, really simple way of doing the brain dance, especially if you want to just do it in a classroom setting where you might not have a lot of room to do like a lot of flower movements. And if it does, just have to be on the spot. So I'll show you standing as well, because you may not have any room to all sit on the floor in your classroom. If you've got 32 children filled with chairs, there's no room. So to put it simply standing somewhere, once again breath. Just two more. And so for children who maybe, you know, there may be some information going on in their body that makes them perhaps disassociate as well, to make them quite heady. This is a safe way for them to become reassociated with their body again, feel safe in their body, and reconnect with emotions and sensations. So it's also about quality of life and emotional intelligence. And then because we're doing these neuro pathways, sorry to interrupt this, we are creating those pathways in the brain through language. Yeah, so they're able to then identify with what's happening for themselves and be able to verbalize it. Okay, so there's please reach out for me to explain more, because there is a lot in this and it is super valuable. So if you feel like it's going to help some of the students or some of the young people that you work with, for God's sake, do it. Tactile. So once again, we'll start the hair, you can start the feet, doesn't matter. Yeah, brush, 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 tapping again. So this part is very similar to when we're sitting down. Tapping, this is the nerve endings, yeah, stimulating the nerve endings. So bring the belly online, ready to be focused, ready to ground. Stamp the feet maybe, clap the hands. And then we are going to do the core distal. So it might be just a star jump and in, or a step out and in, step out and in. And then we're going to do head tail. Now head tail this time could be side to side. Make your head touch your hip. Try and touch your hip. Reach for your hip. Reach for your hip. Reach for your hip. Or get your forehead to touch your belly button. They won't be able to do it, but some kid can. But you know, it gets them. They've got to do this. We need this movement in our muscles and our bones to fire up the neural pathways. Okay? Now, side body. One side of your body, just the chainsaw down your body, one side super frozen, the other side can move though. Do whatever you want. You can flick, you can next to you, but just do it in front. Yeah, it doesn't have to be too big. Now, your legs are frozen. Just your upper body. Just waving your hands in the air. Maybe you'll clap. Maybe you'll clap here. Maybe you'll roll. As long as your legs aren't moving, it is all good. Now, frozen upper body. Just your legs are moving. So you might just want to step, 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 tap, 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 tap. Beautiful. Now, we are going to do cross lateral. So cross lateral can just be, once again, giving yourself a really big hug. Or you can tap your foot behind. Tap your foot. Tap your opposite foot in front. You'll be surprised how children might find cross lateral difficult. So having different ways of doing it. But crossing the leg and giving yourself a hug is a really simple one for kids that might find that really difficult, especially for younger ones. And even this, a lot of kids will do this. Alright, so try and do the opposite way. So a cuddle. Every child knows how to cuddle. Now the vestibular I've already shown you, it's around. Yeah? And back the other way. Same as before. Once again, my darlings, you know, this style of dance is all derived, sorry, I'll bring it up here, from dance movement therapy and creative dance. And so it is designed for people all ages, and there are so many different ways that you can do this. So please, you know, feel free to reach out if you have a request about a certain population. These movements are also used a lot for neurodiverse children and adults. And sometimes it's not conducted in just one dance. Sometimes you might have a program where you go through one section that's just breath. The next section is just tactile. Then the next section is just core distal, and doing that in different ways. The next thing you know, you've got, you know, a 30-minute program where you've done the brain dance but broken up. So it can just be slower. It can be at anyone's pace. So it really can tick a lot of boxes for a lot of different people, but we are all hardwired to do this. And, you know, once again, this is where children and young people are just so amazing, because we were once children. This is us too, and it is reminding us of our possibilities. All right, darlings, as usual, mwah, love and light.